Hi, this is Bethany Reyes. Thank you so much for your purchase of the Brow Obsession palette. I'm so excited for you to use it. I'm going to show you the best techniques to use with this palette to fill in your eyebrows. Your brow palette comes in light, medium, or dark. It depends on your hair color which palette is best for you. Each palette has a lighter and darker shadow so that you can really match it to your eyebrows and have it look natural. Today I'm going to be using the medium brow palette to match my hair color, so keep on watching. The first step to filling in your eyebrows is figuring out your brow shape. Everyone's face shape is different, but there are simple steps you can follow to figure out your brow shape. You want to use a pencil or a brush, line it up along your nose, and where it hits the top, that's where your brow should start. 75-degree angle, that's where your arch should be. It should run right through your pupil. And then from the end of the nose to the end of the eye is where your brow should end. One of my favorite hacks when doing my eyebrows is putting foundation or concealer around my brows first, and I'm going to be using the Touch Mineral Liquid Foundation and the concealer brush to apply this around my brows and create a stencil before I go ahead and fill them in. When I am applying the foundation or concealer, what I like to do is go right along where my eyebrows start to grow. I'm creating the shape here, and you guys can see it's pretty sparse right there. So I am going to want to fill it in, but I'm just going to put my foundation right around that and then do it right underneath the brow as well. You can also use the pink in your palette to create a stencil around your brows instead of foundation or concealer. The pink will actually blend into your skin tone, so don't be afraid that it looks pink. And it will also help create that stencil around your brow if you so wish to use that. The first step in applying my brow palette is using the right utensil. I'm going to be using the Brow Artist brush. One side is flat-headed, the other side is angled. I'm going to start at the bottom of my eyebrows. I'm going to brush these hairs up so I can see where I need to fill them in. And then I'm going to use the darker shadow in my brow palette, and I'm going to start at the bottom here. Now I'm using the flat side of my angled brush to line up the bottom of my brow and create a really clean line. Next, what you can do is brush your hairs down, and then you can see where you need to fill them up at the top there. And I'm just getting a little bit on my brush at a time. The worst thing you can do when filling in your eyebrows is use a ton of product. That's going to make it look really harsh. So use a little bit of your powder at a time. The next step is using the lighter shade in my brow palette and using that towards the beginning of my brow in a very light stroke. The lighter shade in the beginning of your brow will help it fade and look more natural. You might notice that some parts of the brow look kind of messy. This is where that foundation comes in handy. So what I'm going to do is just grab a little bit of that foundation and clean it up. I'm going to do the same thing to the other brow, but speed it up using the same technique. One of the most important parts to filling your brow, in my personal opinion, is making sure that your brows don't look like squares. So a lot of times when people fill them in, they forget that this beginning part is not supposed to look like a clean straight line. My trick to fixing that is grab a little bit of powder or foundation on the end of a brush, and then you're going to dab over the beginning of your brow, and that is going to give your brow the faded effect. The other parts of the palette are the setting wax, which you can use to set your brows and keep them in place, and then also the highlight cream, which you can use to highlight your brow bone. Thank you so much for watching. If you love tutorials like this, make sure to follow me on my business page, facebook.com/hellotruebeauty.